Hey, I'm Rob from JTRpodcast.com, and this is the first episode of the JTR Podcast Show, which is a working title because I don't know what to call it yet. That's because I was going to call it the JTR Podcast, but it's technically not a podcast because it's video, not audio, so I don't know what to call it. Let me know in the comments. And this is going to be a monthly video made up of news clips and unboxings and other things that I've posted on social media from the month before, as well as some fresh new content. And this month it is going to be me in front of my familiar, boring shelf of games like everyone else surroundings, but in the future we'll include other people and come from different locations, especially conventions, when we get conventions again. So there are several segments through this video. I'm going to take your hand, I'm going to hold it, I'm going to guide you through each of those in this first video, so enjoy. So every month there's going to be a theme piece. It's going to run in between all the other segments. It could be a talking point, convention coverage, it could be a top 5 that's maybe doesn't deserve its own video, anything like that. And I was going to do one for this month. In fact, I've done one for this month. I'm just editing it now, as you can see just behind me. But this video is running very long because I'm introducing all the different segments. So I'm going to cut it from this time, stick it in next month, so you've got that to look forward to. Now back to the show. Every month I'll look back at the month previous and let you know about my favourite comment that I received, whether it was positive or negative, just the best comment. But as it's the first time, I'm just going to go through a few comments that I got in the previous month to show you the kind of thing that people say. First up is Zach on Twitter asking why Smash Up isn't in my top 10 deck building games. You know Smash Up, that not deck building game. Next up is Tron7 leaving neutral feedback on eBay because all the cards are in the box. I apologise for sending you a complete game. Next time I'll leave some bits out. Entru Casadio, who stated their opinion about One Night Ultimate Supervillains in my review of the One Night Ultimate collection, the reason they like it and don't like it. That is their opinion, that is a perfectly valid opinion for them, that is fine, but the reasons that he gave are the exact reasons why I like it better than the others. And finally, a lovely comment from Mark B, who just says, this is a really great tutorial. It's always nice to get these really positive comments, so keep them coming, please. This section is called News, and surprise, surprise, it's full of all the news videos I've posted in the last month. Now, there's only 6 that I posted last month. They are all new releases, so maybe I need to do a new release section and a news section separate, or maybe I'll just lump them all together. Not quite sure yet. This is still a series in progress, so enjoy these. If you are thinking of finally getting around to buy Seven Wonders, the classic drafting game, then you might want to hold off because there is a new edition coming. The changes are mostly cosmetic to bring the style in line with Seven Wonders Duel. You can see the tokens are a different colour for the battle tokens, for example. They've gone from red to black for reasons. Also, you can see here, not only have the Wonder boards got slightly bigger, but we'll see shortly, just as he goes through, they are now double-sided. One side has day and the other side has night on all of the Wonder boards. And the insert of the box itself will fit sleeved cards. You can see the different design on the cards there, but the box itself now will fit sleeved cards as well. But it still won't fit any of the expansions, so we're no better off than we were for those of us who've got all the stuff from the original game. So this is the new edition of Santorini coming at some point called Santorini New York. And it plays slightly different to the original. This one, instead of just moving and then building and having an ability, I think you've still got an ability, a character ability, but this one's card driven, so you have 5 cards. All the players are going to pick one face down, reveal simultaneously, and then perform that action from the lowest value to the highest. That's going to be your initiative order. All of these cards do different things, and the way to win is to get to the 3rd level of a building, just like the regular Santorini, but you've got to have the Statue of Liberty in your possession when you do, and the only way to get the Statue of Liberty is to play the highest value card, in other words, go last on a turn. And who wouldn't want this Statue of Liberty? Look how adorable it is. Now, the name of the game, Santorini New York, doesn't really make any sense. That's just 2 completely unrelated city names next to each other. It could have been New York, a Santorini game, for example. It's got shades of Love Letter Batman. I think people are going to make fun of it, and I've already been on Reddit and checked, and they are. Fantasy Flight have announced X-Men Mutant Insurrection, which is going to come out in 2021. According to the details, this is basically a re-theme of Elder Sign, but some of the people who like Elder Sign, I've seen their comments, and they're saying that because the dice are different, that you roll in, they're not all the same dice, that it's going to make it a bit more interesting. Elder Sign's a game I've only played once, and it wasn't for me, but this was more interesting. But I already have Marvel Champions, Marvel Flux, and Marvel Villainous, with Infinity Gauntlet on the way, the Love Letter game. There's also Marvel Smash Up coming, and Marvel Splendor, so maybe I should probably give this one a miss. But it's doubtful. If you've got Scythe and all the expansions that you think that's too many rulebooks, you can now get the Scythe complete rulebook that's going to combine them all together in 136 pages of spiral-bound goodness. You can get a free PDF, but you can also get a softback copy for $20 from the website only. And next year you're going to be able to get a hardback version, which is going to be great because you can beat someone to death when they say, hey, want to play Scythe? Hasbro have announced Dungeons & Dragons Adventure Begins. This is an introduction to Dungeons & Dragons, like a little board game version. It's 2 to 4 player co-op game, fully co-op. You've got semi-customizable characters. In other words, you can sort of change one of their attack cards to something different. You can change their aspects as well. And everybody's going to control their character. Every turn you move forward one space on this branching path, and the space that you land on determines what kind of action you're going to take, whether it's nothing, or whether it's an event, or whether it's a combat. And combat is done with a simple roll of a d12. It's all very simple. Players even each take turns being the DM, which is kind of cool. Everybody gets a go at doing that. It also means there isn't pressure on one player to be really good at DMing. Everybody gets a little go every so often. That's cool. And it reminds me of the time when I was a kid, when we used to play the easy to master Dungeons & Dragons board game. It's a similar sort of thing, but with crappy paper triangle things instead of minis. And although the game looks very simple, I think if I had family, if I had kids, I would buy this and play it with them. But I don't, because I'm going to die alone. So there is an expansion to one of my favourite games of last year coming. It is Plans and Ploys for Tapestry. And there's a few things in it. There are some trap cards that also have different abilities, and they can also cancel traps, which is something people are asking for. It's got some more civilizations, that's cool. It's got some nice spies. The landmarks now have abilities, so the race for those is even more important. You want to get those to get that ability, and there's also some tokens to remind you to use that ability on your turn. And finally, there is a bag to put those tiles in, so you don't need to keep shuffling them and making different piles, which is cool. And this is really cool because it does what an expansion should do, which is to improve the game, fix some problems that the designer had with it, fix some problems that people had with the game, not really problems, but little bits, and not mess around with the rules too much, which is good because it means my how to play video will still be relevant. Creator of content is what I'm calling the segment where I look at the content I posted in the last month. Just a brief overview. I'm not going to spend too much time on any of this. I just want to get through so you can spend your own time looking if you want. You don't have to. It's perfectly fine. It's your life. So because of lockdown, I haven't played any new games. So all my reviews have been look backs at games I played a while ago and didn't really give proper blog attention to, and a few videos as well. So what I've done is I've looked at the Resident Evil deck building game, very fun deck building game if you played that. I've looked at Gloomhaven Digital, which I played on Steam. So there's a brief review of that. I've done my top 10 deck building games of all time. I've done a little post on BGG's top board games. What is a deck builder game? BGG's top deck building game. Sorry, what is a deck building game? What is a digital deck building game? Stuff like that. So you can check that out if you want on jtrpodcast.com. And I've also done a look back at Courtier, one of my favourite games as well that I just don't give much time to. Video-wise, I did a review of the One Night Ultimate Collection, an ups and downs review of that. I did my top 10 deck building games of all time, which people seem to be liking. And I also did my channel intro, which is a 50-second intro telling you all about my channel, which has been viewed 9 times so far. Get in. What a result. So if you want to check out any of that content, go to jtrpodcast.com. It'll all be on there. And this is the section called the WTF Moment. This is where something happened in the previous month that's either really weird or really funny or really controversial, and we can talk about it and we can discuss it in the comments below. Now, it might be something like that, or it could be something like this, which is just basically, it's a question. I don't have feelings either way. And that is, what do you think of online conventions? This has been the year of the non-vention, as I've mentioned earlier. All the conventions have been online, no person-to-person contact. Obviously, people have played games online on Board Game Arena and other things like that, which isn't really for me. I've recently tried it and I quite enjoyed it, but I would rather go to a convention and play with a physical game with people. I know it's not possible at the moment and won't be for the foreseeable, but you know, really miss it. It's not the same. It's not the same online. Now, I haven't done anything for UK Games Expo or anything like that. I will be doing stuff for Essen Digital, hopefully in October, so we'll talk about that more, probably in the November video. But yeah, so my question is to you, what do you think of online conventions? Do you think there's a way that these can continue month after month? Do you think it's something that maybe you could have a Gen Con, then 6 months later have a Gen Con Digital? Just like you have different sort of PAXs, you have that way. Could you do multiple conventions? It might be another revenue stream, another way to get advertising revenue for those conventions. Does that mean we'll have too many conventions? Who knows? Who knows? That's why I want to talk about it below. They're not for me. I didn't do anything. I decorated this room, UK Games Expo weekend, literally watched paint dry instead of playing games online. But yeah, so please let me know what you think of online conventions. Unboxings is the section where I show you all the unboxings. Go figure, who'd have thought that was what it would be. So this is all the unboxing of retail games. Now, I don't do unboxings on YouTube of retail games. I do them of interesting, usually miniature heavy or big deluxe edition board games that I get from Kickstarter, so we can look at their quality, because, you know, most of the games that come through retail have had a bit of a quality approval, at least at some stage, whereas some from Kickstarter maybe just be stuck in the box and shipped out. It's not that the case anymore, really, on Kickstarter. But that's how it can be. So we have 5 games coming up. These are unboxings. Enjoy those. Check this out. We have Marvel Flux with the Collector's Edition coin. And here is that coin. It's not that heavy, but it's quite heavy. And it says turn token. It shows you that it's my turn. It's got all the standard stuff, like all the keepers or all the different heroes that you would expect. There's also some villains somewhere. There's Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet. And it's got all the goals and all the rules and everything as well from the usual Flux game. But there are a couple of interesting cards like this one. Thanos snaps his fingers, where you gather in all the keepers, you discard half at random and deal the rest back out. That's good fun. But this one, I'm not too impressed with. The arena, where everybody picks one and you decide... Well, you have an argument who's going to win, and then everyone votes. And, I don't usually like things like that, but we'll see how it works in a game of Flux. Here we have Silver Coin from Bezier Games, the third in the Silver series. As you can see with all these silver games, the box is almost empty, but we have here a coin, nice metal coin. There's a nice wolf's head and a wolf's tail. And because it is coin-based, a lot of the cards have to do with flipping them over. So you can see here, if you've got the silver coin, you can flip the coin over to flip over any of your cards, or any card. And the cards look pretty cool, as always. We have this nice little dog here who is called something, no idea. And you can see, I think it's number 6. I've just had a quick little huntress, turn one card face down, another card face up. So there's going to be a lot of turning and flipping. Assassin, always like an assassin in the game. We have a sidekick. The sidekick, view any 3 cards, that seems powerful. Nosferatu's there, looking all vampire-y, and make big thick boy Gollum there. We've got the village idiot, we all know one of those. And a big beefy wolfman for 13. So that's Silver Coin. Look forward to giving this a go and comparing it to the other 2. Here we have Marvel Villainous, Infinite Power. I guess this is a re-theme of Disney Villainous with Thanos, Hela, Ultron, Killmonger and Taskmaster. This is basically a card game where all players are playing as villains, and the first villain to complete their evil scheme first wins, while all the other villains are also trying to screw each other over. Everyone has one of these boards. This is Hela's, and these are the actions you can take on your turn, and these are spaces for cards where you can cover them up, so your opponents can cover these up so you can't take some of the actions and things like that. Everybody gets a nice meaty plastic, it's quite heavy this one, thing that you use to select your actions, I believe. There's a bowl full of tokens. Suppose you've got to keep them somewhere. There is a hella lot of cards in this game, ha ha ha. And not only does it have reference cards are always handy when you're playing games like this, but it also has these nice little villain guides so that when you're playing you can get tips and tricks on how to sort of win the game and use their deck, which is good, especially if you've never played before. It even shows you what all the cards do and everything. That's really cool, can't wait to give this one a go. Hey look, it's Marvel Infinity Gauntlet, and unlike Batman, they've actually hidden the fact it's a love letter game in the top. So like most love letter games, it comes in a little cute bag, but unlike most, this is actually one versus many game. This one comes with some plastic +2 tokens, also some little arrows to use to scoring, we use on this card here. There's 2 separate decks of cards, one for Thanos and one for the heroes, so you can see the Thanos deck here has all Proxima Knight and Ebony Maw and all those, and including Thanos himself, who is technically a love letter princess. And the cards for the heroes are about the same as love letter. They do some different things, but they have done, instead of having the same card for each one, so that there was all being guards, they've changed the artwork and changed up the character as well. And you fight now instead of comparing cards. So here are all the heroes, quite a few of them. Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, who was that? Missed that. Vision, Vision. Captain Marvel, and Iron Man. I can't believe I actually managed to get this. It is the Wacky Races Deluxe Edition for less than half the price it was going for originally. I mean, the game's not great, it's very simple, but look at all the awesome cars, and there's also a championship mode, although I do think I'll be hard-pressed to find people who want to play 16 races. Inside we have a very clear and colourful rulebook. We have some quick start rules as well, that's always useful. The tiles are start-finish tiles in the different locations, I think there's a couple of sheets of those. And we've got the boards that you use to mark your cards on, we've got the start grid here. Deck of Dick Dastardly's traps, and the cards are used to move. These are half-size American-style cards. And there they all are, don't they look awesome? So there you go, I know people struggle with my accent sometimes, being from a weird part of England, but I am saying wacky races, not wacky racists. This is the Kickstarter segment where I look at current Kickstarters. Now what I'm trying to do is keep it indie. I'm not going to look at things from Come On or anything like that, or Queen Games or anything. All those are going to be in the news because they will be announced months before. These are going to be independent designed games, mostly British, because I want to make sure that I at least know the designers or know of the company, or at least seen they've got a history of stuff before. Because it's Kickstarter, you don't know who they are. I don't want to give you a Kickstarter or show or give any time to a Kickstarter that's just going to take your money and not give you a game, because it is possible and it has been done. So I don't want to do that. So yep, there are 2 this month. I know both the designers. I've met them at conventions a lot, so you can give both of these a look. So here we have Defection on Kickstarter from Thunderbolts Limited. Welcome to Defection, a cooperative pick up and deliver game. It's a very pretty looking space game. You can see what's in the box here. We've got some ship minis, some player terminals. Just going to scroll through all these planets and crew tiles, because there's plenty of stuff in the box. Cards, encounter cards, always good to have encounters. Loot's always good. News, skill check die, special space tiles, and loads of other stuff as well. And of course, a rule book, very important. There's also an expansion, the fully upgraded box, which gives you some minis for some stuff. There's also a load of meeples, and there's a mini expansion there as well as some more crew tiles and an extra die, so everybody gets one. So I think there's only 2 pledge levels available at the moment. You have Defection for £50, which gives you the base game, and for the fully upgraded for £65 gives you the base game and the fully uploaded expansion. There's also for £100 Shipping McShipface, where you can name a ship, but I think they've all gone. So that is Defection. It is a game I've seen morph and evolve with thousands of hours of playtesting and player feedback at various conventions, where I've seen this game being playtested by very happy people, so it's definitely worth your time and your money. Here on Kickstarter we have Streets from the designer and publisher of the very popular Villagers. So the description here says, the city is populated by increasing numbers of people. These hipsters, tourists, shoppers and parents increase the value of any buildings they occupy, and they move from street to street as they are scored. You need to locate your buildings carefully and attract the right crowd to earn more than your opponents. You can see sort of game in play here. On your turn, you place a building into the city, and when a street is enclosed, all buildings in it are sold, and meeples of the different types, they all move into the relevant buildings. You earn the most money to win. There's also a little business expansion that uses the icons on the top of the cards. There is a consultants expansion that adds some very funky looking consultants. There's a solo mode. There is the standard components, and there is a deluxe edition. Got some money, screen printed meeples, there's tokens and stuff. £23 will get you Streets, £38 will get you Streets Deluxe version, but then you can also add the Villagers onto that as well for £53 and £68. So definitely check that out. It's from a very good company. Dave Clark, top guy. Back it. And there we go. That is the end of JTR Podcast Show Episode 1. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Remember to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and Insta at JTR Podcast. You can support the show if you want to. You don't have to, but it'd be greatly appreciated at jtrpodcast.com/Patreon, I think it is, for ongoing subscriptions, or just for a one-off. I think it's jtrpodcast.com/coffee. I'm reading this off the top of my head. You should be able to see it on the screen now, so it will actually make sense to you. And of course, you can find the blog at jtrpodcast.com. I'm Rob, aka JestaThaRogue. Please let me know what you think and what you want to see more and less of in the comments below, and I'll see you soon.